All right.
All right, let me throw it your way. Who won the deal? Let's start here.
Listen, I don't know where Montreal is going. However, if it was the foregone conclusion that I thought it was and that you thought it was, that Max Pacioretty was not going to play this year with the Montreal Canadiens, then Marc Bergevin did well in this deal to take the salary dump that Thomas Tatar is. And I know there's a lot of people in Montreal going, this is a 29-goal scorer. This guy's a guy who can score 29. I mean, think of what George McPhee gave up to get this guy. And for those who don't know, at the trade deadline a year ago, it was a first, a second, and a third rounder for Thomas Tatar. But he is not the, if anything, maybe he gets the opportunity, and I don't see it. But maybe he gets the opportunity in Montreal because he will get the opportunity to play first-line minutes, play power play minutes, and maybe he scores 25. I don't think this is a 30-goal scorer.
He could play the blue line if he wants to right now, Mikhail.
He can play anywhere.
There's openings all over
on
the
that
place.
team. And to get Suzuki and to get your pick, I think Marc Bergevin did well. However, it must be understood that at $5.3 million for 3 more seasons or the cap hit of 4.8, because Vegas retained, this is a salary dump by George McPhee, and the only reason why Marc Bergevin got something back for Max Pacioretty that looks as good as this looks.
I like it. I like it. I don't know how Bergevin did this.
Well, he took on a deal that not a lot of people wanted.
But it's still,
that's what he did.
But even if Vegas takes that money back, that's still, let's say they don't take the money back, that's $5+ million on Tatar. That's not the craziest contract in the National Hockey League, right? Like that's still maximizing.
For a healthy scratch of 12 of 20 games in the postseason for Vegas?
Because he didn't fit into Gerard Gallant last postseason doesn't mean he can't fit into Montreal.
Well, he's going to get every chance to do it.
Absolutely.
And I would probably bet against him finding that 29-goal form that he had in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, they're not going to be good this year. With that said, though, Suzuki is a kid that's interesting. He's a center. Last time I checked, they need centers long term.
Well, he's perfect for Montreal because he's a center who plays all 3 positions. So they can play him at a position as they did with Alex Galchenyuk and as they admitted to doing with Jonathan Drouin and still haven't rectified the situation with Drouin. But yes, he's a center.
What's amazing about that comment is I was just going through some reaction today, and the one thing I saw more than anything is we got a young center. Let's play him on the wing.
Right.
Go Habs.
Right.
And the draft pick second rounder, look, he wasn't doing any better than this, right? Like I think, look, Bergevin's been a bit of a punching bag for a while.
Yeah.
But this has not gone well.
And rightfully so.
But I don't see the negatives in this at all. Max Pacioretty needed a break. The Habs needed him out before camp. This was a shockingly good deal for the Montreal Canadiens. And I am going to do something I rarely do on national TV. Give him credit. Because that makes sense. Does that make him a playoff team in 3 years? Probably not. Probably not. Let's be honest.
Okay, let me ask you this then, as people think on the megaphone thing that Vegas won the deal. Let me ask you this, because I was going to go down the road of why did this divorce take place, but before we get to why the divorce took place, I have to ask you, in response to you saying you like the deal, where the bleep are the Habs going?
Well, that's a separate question. That's a separate question.
Well, but no, that's part of the deal.
No, this was an extremely isolated, bizarre case where your captain had to go.
No, I don't know if you remember this, but the Habs couldn't do one thing really well last year. It was called scoring.
Correct.
This guy scored 35 times, and you just traded him for a guy who was a healthy scratch, basically, and some kids. And I don't know if you know this, but their 2 best players are over 30 years of age, and both are signed until 2026. I repeat, they are signed till 2026,
right.
And it appears as though they're rebuilding with this deal.
Well, especially now. Well, here's the thing everyone has to remember. They weren't re-signing Max Pacioretty. So you do one of 2 things in professional sports, and Blue Jay fans, you let me know if this sounds familiar.
Okay.
You either trade a guy before he walks for nothing,
right?
Or see him walk for nothing, or a reasonable facsimile at a trade deadline where he's hurt and he passes through waivers, and then you get nothing for him. I think they did the smart thing.